welcome back to my class. In this model number 2, we have been discussing about enzyme kinetics. We have seen simple enzyme kinetics, and we have inhibition of enzyme reactions and other influences of enzyme activity we will discuss now. Okay, that will complete this segment of this model. So in this lecture number 14, we will discuss about factors that affect the enzyme activity. Okay, in lecture number 13, we have seen a tutorial class on solving numericals to determine the Michaelis-Menten parameters like Km value and Vmax determination. Okay, so in this lecture we have solved several numericals. So we solved numerical using various graphical methods how to determine the values. Okay, we have solved several numericals on it. Mostly we used this steady state approximation method. Even I asked you to solve the case when there is a reversible reaction takes place. In this case, how the reaction will change also. I asked you to solve it as homework and send it to me. Many of you have done that. I appreciate you for that. Okay, so now we will go back. Now we will discuss about the various factors that affect the enzyme activities. Okay, factors that affect enzyme activity. Okay, so first thing we will consider is pH. Okay, effect of pH. Okay, those who are attending, you can take notes. At the end of the lecture, you can email me. Okay. So, what is the effect of pH? Enzymes are active only in a certain optimum pH range. Okay, so that I have told you earlier also. Every enzyme will be active in a particular pH range. So in general, what happens? We will see with the percentage catalytic activity. So when you have the maximum activity, that is the rate of the reaction is max. Okay, maximum activity and the pH range. With the change in pH, how this pH will be affecting the enzyme activity. Okay, so if we, in general, what we can say is for most of the enzymes, so the catalytic activity will increase with increase in pH, and then it will decrease and cease to become 0 after the pH of 12. Okay, and this is the case example for one of the enzyme called as acticin. Okay, so this is one enzyme. So there are certain other enzymes where it may be, for each enzyme it is going to have a certain plot, but the general trend is going to be like this. So if this plot is A and this plot is B, so the plot A is for ACTRYTSIN. So the enzyme ACTRY is fine. So actripsin have a effect of pH like this, and B is PHOLINETERAS. Okay, so this enzyme cholinesterase have a effect of pH like this. Okay, so that why it is so, that's more important. So every enzyme will have some ions. So they will contain some ions. It may be cation or anion. So mostly if it is, say for example, if it contains H plus ions or any ionic group. Okay, for example, this is one example. Okay, so these enzymes will have some ionic groups and on their active sites. We have seen that enzyme will have active sites on which the substrate will come and fit into it, right? So that enzyme substrates, active sites, active centers present in the surface of the enzyme will have some ions attached to it. So that means when the substrate containing or the medium is containing some certain pH, so accordingly they will form some suitable combination will be happening. Okay, so that way, so for these certain enzymes to having these ionic groups on their active sites, so there some of the pH range will be suitable for them for the enzyme to actually to be active. For the enzyme to be active means what? So that active site will be readily attracting the substrate to get attached to it. Okay, so that way, so these enzymes will be active in certain range. Okay, so any change in pH, I told you that within certain optimum range of pH, they will be active. So beyond this range, so they will be inactive. Okay, that's what we are seeing here. So here the activity is increasing, and beyond certain point, a critical point, it is start decreasing and going totally to zero, right? So that way, always when there is a change in pH, it will result is pH of the medium we are talking about. Okay, so we have seen that in any broth medium. Okay, so you are going to have a pH where substrate and the enzyme will be added to it. Okay, so this pH only we are discussing about. So this pH is changing. When there is a drastic change in the pH, there will be change in the enzyme activity, because there is change in the ionic forms, ions that are present in the active sites. Okay, so when there is a change in pH in the medium, there is change in the ionic forms of the active sites. So therefore, the activity will be changing that. So which means that when the catalytic activity is changing, means what? The rate of the reaction also is affected. When I say the rate of the reaction is affected, so these Michaelis-Menten parameters like a Km value or Vmax also will change. Okay, so that is the thing with respect to change in pH. Why? Because they, as I said, these active centers will have this change in pH may loosen or deactivate these three-dimensional structures present at the enzyme surfaces. So enzyme surfaces, whatever is a 3D shape is there, they get affected or they may get altered also. Okay, so that way they weaken their readiness to attract the substrate to the surface. So what generally happens is when this enzyme group is having some certain ion and substrate is coming in contact with it, right? When substrate is coming in contact with it, so that substrate contains some certain ionic groups, they also change the activity of the enzymes. Okay, so there are two places when actually we have seen that enzyme active centers will contain some ionic forms. So that's why when the medium pH is changing, its three-dimensional structure gets affected. That's why there is change in the activity. And similarly, when the substrate also, there is a possibility that some of the substrate may contain ionic groups. Okay, so that way any change in these pH in the medium may also affect the characteristics of the substrate. So it's not only the enzyme surface is getting affected because of the change in pH, but there are some substrates. It's not that all substrate will have affected by pH, but there may be a substrate which will contain ionic groups. If for such substrates, when they are added into the medium where the pH is beyond its preferred limit, so their characteristics also get affected, which means that the readiness with which the substrate will get attached to the active sites also will be changed. So the affinity, what we can say is the affinity between the substrate and the enzyme may be getting affected when we are adding this, when the pH is changed beyond this optimum range. So that way, even for substrate as well as for enzymes, optimum pH is preferred one. Okay, so how they are going to affect, what is the dependency of this reaction, rate of the reaction on this pH can be illustrated with an example. Okay, for that what we will do, we will consider a reaction, okay, where these ions are present. Okay, so what is the effect of ions? Let me say there is an acidic medium. When I say acidic medium, you have H plus ions adequately present in it. Okay, so we have ions which have this E minus. Okay, so when we have such ions and we are having acidic medium where H plus ions are there, so we can consider a mechanism. Okay, let us consider. Let us consider a mechanism. Say for example, E with an ion plus H plus will be reacting. It's a reversible reaction. Okay, to form an intermediate EH. Okay, so thus formed ES will react with the substrate to form another intermediate. Let me say EHS. So we are having an intermediate with enzyme, ions and substrate. Okay, so such intermediate is formed, which will proceed to form the product plus this EH. Okay, so again this EH is the intermediate here. Okay, so that is getting back after this reaction. So this is capital Km, don't write. So usually what we write is different. So what is given in the question is K2. So then this EH will react with even again with H plus to form EH2 plus ions. Okay, this E minus ion reacts with H plus ion to form EH intermediate. That EH intermediate will react with substrate in a reversible way to form another intermediate EHS. Then that EHS proceeds in it is only forward reaction. Please note down, it is only a forward reaction to form product plus EH. Okay, so again this intermediate may again, because this is acidic medium, so we have another H plus. So EH plus H plus can form EH2 plus ion. Okay, so this capital Km, capital K2 and capital K1, and this is small k2. Okay, so you can write like this if you are used with this small k2. Okay, so this is capital K. Okay, this is small k. So these three are given as capital K, which we define as the dissociation constant, which is the reverse rate constant by forward rate constant. Okay, so that means what? When I say capital K1, it is small k1 by k minus 1 or small k1 by k1. Which one is correct? First or second? I told you what is it. Should we write capital K1 as k minus 1 by k1 or k1 by k minus 1? One of you?
K minus 1 by k.
Yeah, so we should not write this one. Okay, so we should not write like this. So we should write small k minus 1 by k1. Okay, so same way, that way now you know what is Km, what is K2, what is K1. Why I am telling is when you are writing the equation, we should not get confused. Okay, so we know that what is their dissociation constant. Okay, remember here in the question it is given capital K2 here also small k2. So when we are writing this, for convenience we can write like K2 forward as K2 dash, K2 backward as K minus 2 dash. Okay, because here same is given, right? Otherwise we can use it with K3 and proceed, but just let us follow what is given. Okay, so question is derive an equation for this mechanism. Okay, so that will even given. So actually remember, all equations can be written as R equal to V equal to V max into S by some Km dash plus S. Okay, what is this and this we have to get. Final form we are going to get like this. Okay, so now first write the equation separately to understand. If you have understood, I have explained you how these reactions are taking place. So you can write these equations separately so that you can write the rate equations easily. Okay, so the first step is from the above given equation. What is the first equation? We have EH plus S giving that Km equation. You please write this Km equation first. You can write anything first. I am just following this. EH plus S giving EHS is my reaction. Right? Easy to write because there is no much thing here. So this EH plus S giving EHS and it is given capital Km dash. Okay, so that means that it is small km dash by small k minus m dash. Okay, k minus m dash. Okay, now can we write for this, let it be equation. See, I am writing separately to make you clearly understand. See, if you are thorough with this, you can write directly, but it is for understanding or for preparation for exam also, it is better you write separately so that easy to write the rate equations, right? So now we can write, so we know that at equilibrium, km dash into EH into S is equal to k minus m dash into EHS. Okay, can we rearrange this as what is k minus m dash by km dash? So k minus m dash by km dash is this numerator, this will go into the denominator, right? EH, are you able to follow? It's simple only, we have already done derivation. Our mid-semester questions are going to be like this only, different type of reactions. What is the rate equation? Now, this is, let it be equation number 1. Please write like this for other reactions also, for K2 and K1. Right, for K1, let me say it is step 1. I have done it. Now you do this step 2 for your K1 reaction. What is K1 reaction? Here, EH plus H plus giving EH2. Because these two are easy to write. What is that? EH plus H plus, again reversible to form EH2 plus. Let it be equation number 2. For this at equilibrium, you can say, this is K1, right? K1 or K2 it is? It is given as K1. Okay, capital K1 as the dissociation constant. So we can say here it is small k1, small k minus 1. Okay, this minus 1 is subscript, don't write k minus 1. Okay, k subscript 1, k I will write here like that. We will be writing k1, I will be writing k minus 1. Okay, so at equilibrium we can say this k1 into EH into H plus is equal to k minus 1 into EH2 plus. Easy. So now to write what is capital K1, we can keep this to the right hand side, take this to the right hand side, take this to the left hand side. We get k minus 1 by K1 equal to, numerator is as it is, EH into H plus divided by EH2 plus. Okay, now what is this? Nothing but capital K1, right? Dissociation constant. So let it be equation number 2. Now step 3 you write for K2, capital K2. I told you that use small k2 dash and small k minus 2 dash. Okay, for this, because why we have to use the dash? Only to differentiate in the given equation this forward reaction, the final step is given as K2. Here also they are given K2. So we are using to differentiate this K2, we just use K prime. Are you writing? What is the equation for K2? It is there. Oh my goodness. Okay. What is the first equation, right? KE minus plus H plus is giving, as I told, K2 dash, K minus 2 dash, here EH plus S. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Any other answers? Is it the way to write? Vaishnavi? Hemavati? Is it the way to write this equation?
Sir, S should not be present now, sir.
Yeah, who is this?
Sandeep, sir.
Mani Sandeep?
Yes, sir.
Okay, correct. See, remember while explaining question itself, I told you. See, remember this is the reaction. I clearly told it further reacts with substrate to form next one. When I explained this one question, I clearly told it is forming only, this is the product formed in this reaction. This is further reaction. So this is also further reaction. Otherwise, if you are able to say like that, it is EH plus S plus H plus. No, that is not the case. So this is the separate reaction we are considering as third reaction. Okay, very good. So that is more important because many people make this mistake in the exams. Okay, so we should not write, you write, why you can even write as we have, after writing it, you write as it is not a product of the reaction. Okay, it is next step, next reaction. Okay, so it should not be present. So only EH. Okay, this is our only reaction. Everyone continue to use this S and unable to separate it out later. Okay. So now you can write for this also. At equilibrium, what we can write? What is that? K2 dash into E minus H plus is equal to K minus 2 dash into EH. Now it is simple. See, once you are clear it with what you are writing here, then it is simple only. Okay. So then you can write K minus 2 dash by K2 dash is equal to numerator is E minus and H plus ions EH. Okay. So let it be equation number 4. Why I am writing 4? What is 3? 3 is our simple forward reaction only. That is easy to write, right? What is our reaction? Here. Forward reaction only, right? EHS P into, so that is our main rate equation. What is that? EHS proceeds in K2 to form product plus EH. So this is our actually main rate equation, or you can write RRV is equal to dP by dt. What is that? K2 into EHS. Okay, let it be equation number 3. Okay, equation 3, our reaction 3 and equation is 3. So this is where we are going to finally form out, right? After which what we have to do? Once we get what is EHS, finally we will substitute here. Okay, and we will write V equal to Vmax by Km plus S. V equal to Vmax into S divided by Km plus S form we have to bring in. So that is our overall objective. So here we will come back once we get the equation for EHS. Okay, because EHS is an intermediate, so we have to express it in terms of other known concentrations. Okay, so now we have 4. So where to start to get E equation? We have another equation which is the enzyme concentration. Let E naught, I will be writing E naught because this is easier for me, but actually we should write like this. Okay, let E naught is the initial concentration, initial enzyme concentration at time t equal to 0. Okay, then at any time what is the enzyme? So once you are able to write this, next remaining procedures are same. One of you tell me how to write E equation. E, see, we have seen that enzyme is conserved. At any time, concentration enzyme will be present as free enzyme, or it is going to be present as intermediate, right? So here in this problem, we are not writing E simply because E minus is there. It is present in E minus form. So this free enzyme will be present as E minus form. So that is the only thing. Usually we will write enzyme plus it will be present as ES, like that, whatever it is coming. Now here you have to write E minus. That is the difference. Other than that, wherever E is present in different intermediate, 3 intermediate forms. So there will be 3 intermediate form, and fourth one is free enzyme. That is E minus. Okay. So with that, we will be able to solve the proceed. Okay. First thing is to write a free enzyme equation. So E naught is equal to if you are familiar, you can write this 0 outside. Okay, so this E naught is equal to either it will be present in the form of E minus plus, yeah, Sandeep, tell me.
E plus EH, sir. EH.
Yeah, EH
EH2 plus.
Very good.
And EHS, sir.
Plus EHS.
EHS.
See, this is where we are able to appreciate ourselves that we are clear about the mechanism. We are clear about, we have understood the reaction properly. So if you have understood this reaction properly, there should not be any difficulty in writing this what is E. It will not be given, you see. See, even this capital Km is not given. By definition of dissociation constants, we have written that also ourselves. Here also, once we have seen E is free enzyme, that is a reactant, EH, EH2 plus EHS. So it will be either present as raw material, means reactant E minus, or EH, or EH2 plus, or EHS. So obviously this one. Okay, so this EH and this EH are same. But to write an expression, we will consider only one place, right? So now we have this equation. So what I will tell you is, we have to find the expression for this and this, so that finally we will be able to get what is EHS. As I told you that V equal to we have seen that V equal to some K2 into VHS, right? So therefore, to get what is EHS, our aim is to get EHS. Okay, for that we have to consider, the enzyme concentration, enzyme balance. Okay, considering the enzyme balance, where the enzyme is conserved, because it is like a catalyst, it won't get consumed or disappear in the reaction. They take part, they activate the reaction, and then again become catalyst only. Okay, so to do that, what we have to do, we can substitute K1 equation and K2 equations. We have K1 equation and K2, capital K1. We have capital K1 equation, K2 equation, which we have written as 2 and 4. From 2 and 4, rearrange. Please rearrange from K1 and K2. What is EH? What is EHS? Sorry, EH2 we have to replace, not EHS. Yeah, that will be the equation you will be getting. So this from 2 and this from 4, you can rearrange this equation 2. What is equation 2? We have written what is K1, right? So now from that you write what is EH2. What is EH2 plus equation 2? Are you writing? We have equation 2. Here, what is EH2 plus? This it goes to the numerator in the other side. K1 will go to the denominator in the other side. That's what I am asking you to do. So EH2 plus is equal to, denominator will become capital K1. Numerator will be the same, right? What is that? One of you? I couldn't move every time. Is it E?
EH
Yeah, EH into
H plus by K1.
Yeah, right, K1. Let it be 5. Similarly, from 4, rearrange to write what is EH. Sorry, E minus, right? Again, I am wrong here. Okay. From equation 4, you write what is E minus. Simple rearrangement, right? This is E minus, so rest will go. So this is actually equal to capital K2. Okay, so this will become K2EH, capital K2 EH divided by H plus, right? H plus is in denominator or numerator?
Denominator, sir.
Okay, so now substituting 5 and 6 in 4, not in 4, what is the equation? I have not given number. So what is the number to be given? Substituting that even 5 and 6, let it be A, not to confuse. Okay, substituting 5 and 6 in equation A, so what you get is E naught is equal to, for E minus we will be writing K2 EH divided by H plus EH plus EH into H plus by K1, capital K1 plus EHS as it is. In this two are as it is, right? So these two we have substituted from 5 and 6 in equation number 6. Is it color visible or should I change? Now what you observe? EH is common in these three terms, right? EH, EH, EH. So we can write EH common outside, concentration of EH into, yes, this is 1. If EH is taken out, it is 1 plus here H plus by K1 plus here what is left out? K2 by H plus, right? K2 by H plus. So this is one term. These first three terms we have written. We should not leave out this one. So this term will come as it is plus EHS. Okay. Can you simplify to get what is EH? Simplify to get what is EH. Rearranging, this term can go to the left hand side and this will go to the denominator. So you will get what is EH, right? Do that. Now if I take this, remember this is concentration. We have to write with the square brackets, right? Everywhere we have to write square bracket all the concentrations. Okay. It is E naught minus EHS divided by, this will go to the denominator, right? Okay, let me write one more step. This is EH into 1 plus H plus by K1 plus K2 by H plus. See, remember we are dealing with capital case, so please be aware of it. Now we can write what is EH, right? So rearranging, EH concentration is equal to E naught concentration minus concentration of EHS divided by 1 plus H plus by K1 plus K2 by H plus. Remember this also square bracket, right? You should not leave it out. Concentrations all should be in H plus, means in square brackets. Correct my typo errors, please. Is it right? Give a number to this. We have given already 5, 6, I think. Equation number 7. Any doubt in this? Or should I repeat? Okay. I'll repeat so far. So we have already written what is capital K1, what is capital K2. Okay, so then we have written equation for overall product formation R equal to V into V equal to K2 into EHS. So our aim is to find the expression for EHS. To get an expression for EHS, before that what we will do, we will take the enzyme balance. So let E naught is the initial concentration. This enzyme will present in 4 different forms. One is free enzyme, other 3 are intermediate. So concentration of each is written. So here also it is concentration of enzyme. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to replace this E minus and EH2 plus first. So for that we have taken from equation 2 and 4, we are writing what is EH2 plus and E minus. Okay, so we got a expression, we are substituting that in this equation A. So then rearranging and simplifying, we are getting an expression for EH. Similarly, we have equation number 1, right? So what is our equation number 1? Km dash is equal to So what we have written? Equation number 1. Please refer to our equation number 1. We have written Km dash is something. What is that?
EH by EHS.
Sorry. We have Km is equal to EH S by EHS, right? This is our equation 1. Okay. So from that you write what is EHS? EH. It is Km dash, right? So can you rearrange this? So we have Km dash equal to EH into S by EHS, right? So substitute it, this EH value here. We have EH is equal to this much. So we will get what is Km dash. Please write that. Simple non-direct substitution, whatever it is coming, you can write. Okay. So that is E naught minus EHS. So S we should not leave out again. Here there is a S, there is a EHS, that will be there as it is. Let it be there. This equation we are going to have concentration of S by concentration of EHS. So direct substitution, whatever you got, that is E naught minus EHS divided by 1 plus H plus by K1 plus K2 by H plus. Is that right? Into this. Okay, this is there already in the equation. So let it be equation number 8. Okay, so now we have equation number 8 to have what is Km dash. This you can rearrange. Take EHS and the denominator, all the denominator to the left hand side. So what I am asking you to do is simplify to get what is EHS now. Okay. So how to simplify is, first take this denominator terms to the left hand side. So what you will get is Km dash into whatever is the constant, right? 1 plus H plus by K1 plus K2 by H2, sorry, H plus, and I told to take EHS also to the left hand side. So you have EHS, okay, so which is equal to, so what is left out, denominator all we have taken to the left hand side. So S will go into both terms. So we can separate out. So write E naught into S minus EHS into S. Okay, so you have EHS here, EHS here. So take this term to the left hand side. If it goes to the left hand side, we are going to have this total term. We write the total term once. Plus S into EHS is equal to E naught into S. Okay, so you can take this EHS common outside now. Take this EHS common outside, what do you get? What is the square bracket? Please write the detail. 1 plus H plus by K1 plus K2 by H plus. Okay. So now you take AHS common outside. You are going to have these terms 1, 2, 3. plus 4. Okay, there will be 4 terms, and right hand side is your E naught into S. Please write those 4 terms. We are taking Km dash common outside. Okay. So what will happen? So this term, this plus this, right, will come. So we can write Km dash into 1 plus H plus by K1 plus K2 by H plus yes. Wherever square brackets, we please write that. Okay. So now we can write what is EHS, right? So EHS also square bracket only. EHS concentration is equal to, right hand side is E naught S divided by the total term. You can bring it down to the right hand side. Okay, so we bring that to the right hand side. What you will have is Km dash into 1 plus H plus by K1 plus K2 by H plus concentration of S. I think we are nearing the climax. This is equation number 10. So okay, let it be 9. What is the earlier number? 8. Okay, so let it be equation number 9. Now what you can do? Substitute 9 in your rate equation. We have written V equal to R equal to something. What is that? K2 into EHS. So substitute the 9 in this equation number 3. We are going to get the rate equation. Okay. What is that? Rate equation equal to V equal to K2 into, so this equation will come E naught into, almost we got similar form, right? K2 equal to E naught into S divided by this total term we have to write, that is capital Km dash into 1 plus H plus by K1 plus K2 by H plus substrate. So you compare now with V equal to V max into S divided by some Km dash optimum plus S. Then what is that V max? Where, so we can write this equation similar to this form, but here we are talking about the optimum pH range, right? H plus ion represents the pH of the medium. We can say, you can write in a similar form. So when you write V equal to V max into S divided by some Km optimum dash plus S. So whenever we define something new, we have to write what is that, right? So where V max equal to K2 into E naught and Km dash optimum is equal to this total term. Okay, so whatever is there, we'll write it as some Km dash into 1 plus H plus by K1 plus K2 by H plus. Okay. So we have written that as 9. We'll write this as 10, 11, 12. This is we know already, you can say. Okay, so this is the equation we get. So this represents, okay, from here we can take a lot of inferences. We have time? Yes. Okay. So what we can see is that every enzyme, we have seen that every enzyme will be active in certain pH range. So that is given by this, we are quantifying them here with this equation. Okay. as a result of this equation, the pH optimum of the enzyme is between this pH K1 and K2, okay, for the reactions. Okay, so that way there will be increase in pH, it will be influencing the enzyme activity, but beyond a certain range of this increase, so the enzyme will get deactivated. Okay, so the enzyme activity will be reducing. So most of the enzymes are active whenever you say what is the optimum pH for enzyme. See, there can be always extremes, right? So there are extremes cases, but in general, most of the enzymes, when you say general value, there will be always in minus side or as well as plus side, there will be exemptions. But in general, most of the enzymes are active in the range of 6 to 8. And beyond this range, they are not so active. Okay, so the reason we have seen through this derivation also, so there will be ionic sites present in the enzymes, so they may get damaged or denatured when pH is changes. As also we have seen that when the substrate also contains ions, even their activity also, their affinity towards the enzyme also get affected when the pH is beyond this optimum range. Okay, but however, as I said, there are some exemption cases where, for example, if you consider pepsine, it is active, its optimum range. So in general, optimum range is this, right? So I am giving you example for exemptions. So the optimum pH range for this enzyme pepsine is 1 to 2, and there is another enzyme acid phosphatase, which is active in the range of 4 to 5, and there is an enzyme active in the range of 10 to 11, which is called, see, that's why in the name itself they add that one, it's acidic, right? Below 7 you have acidic region. So this acid phosphatase refers to that this enzyme is containing some active, this will be active in the range of this acid. There is an alkaline phosphatase, so which is having an optimum pH range to work in this region. Okay, and all these are observed through experiments. These are all from experiments or from experience. Okay, so that means what? You cannot have an equation, and from that equation we cannot say that this is the optimum pH range for this enzyme. So actually it is possible, but how to get it depends upon knowing the characteristics of the active sites, right? What kind of ions are present is there, what is the structure over there, what is the affinity of the substrate towards the enzyme. So such deep knowledge or more information is observed required if you want to obtain this optimum pH range through theoretical derivations. So theoretically we may not be able to quantify the value of pH, optimum pH range, but however from experiments we will be able to get the things. Okay, well, so in this table there are some enzymes with the optimum pH range mentioned. So apart from that, other effects, okay, this is a major one, effect of pH is important. And with respect to temperature, so we know Arrhenius equation, right? In CRE we have seen effect of temperature, effect of pH is over. Now effect of temperature, temperature effects. What are the effect of temperature? Remember, any person may be comfortable within a temperature range, so beyond which either if it is minus degree or plus degree we will not feel comfortable, right? Comfort zone is there. Same way for enzyme also, there is a optimum range. With increase in temperature, we can say that maximum activity percentage maximum activity, so it will keep increasing. Temperature with effect increase in temperature, I increase the temperature from here to here, so they keep increasing up to a critical point. Okay, and there is a critical point temperature, so in that optimum range only we have to operate. Okay, and below, after that what happens, the denaturation of the enzyme takes place. So that's why so there are two phases involved. One is like they get activated, so we can say temperature activation. It's like pressure on students also, right? Parents give so much pressure during your 9th standard onwards to clear all these exams and all that. So some people able to sustain it and overcome. So there is a thing, over pressure also leads to some negative impacts, right? Same way here, when the temperature is raised beyond a certain optimum range, so what happens? They get deactivated. So that second phase is deactivation of the enzymatic activity. Okay, so they get deactivated beyond certain temperature. So that way, in general, what happens? With increase in temperature, the enzyme catalytic activity increases up to a certain limit, beyond which the enzyme gets deactivated. Okay, so that way there are two parts in this. There is activation range, thermal activation, and there is thermal deactivation. So what you can say in this range, what is the proportionality? It's directly proportional. You can say the reaction rate is directly proportional to A into enzyme concentration. Okay, so this K2 is, see, rate constant, Arrhenius, effect of temperature in CRE we have studied, right? Arrhenius theory, other theory, collision theory, all that explained. If you consider the simple theory, Arrhenius theory, it says the rate constant is a function of A into E power minus E by RT, which is EA is the activation energy. We should not confuse it with enzyme. Okay, so we have seen from Arrhenius equation that what is the unit of this activation energy? Kilocalories per kilomole, right? So we have enzyme concentration, it is in moles per liter, so they are different. Okay, so this rate constant, you can see in the effect of temperature given by Arrhenius equation also. Okay, so that way this get activated, but only up to a certain limit. And what about the second zone, deactivation, or you can say denaturation, thermal denaturation. Okay, so in thermal denaturation, so when this E becomes E deactivation, the enzymes are getting deactivated. Okay, so that is your rate of this equal to some K deactivation rate constant into E. So what happened during this deactivation change? If we integrate it, we get E equal to E naught into E power minus K dE. Okay, so that we have negative rate constant where you are going to have decrease in the catalytic activity. So for example, some of the points to infer from this type of graph is whenever there is a 10-degree change, for example, the temperature is rise from 30 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, so what happens to the enzyme catalytic activity is it increases up to 2 times, 1.8 times enzyme catalytic activity is increased. But there is a negative side of it. Denaturation takes 40 times, it increases. 40 times increase in enzyme denaturation takes place. Okay, so that's the thing. There is a trade-off between these two. It's like, as I said, pressurizing the students, right? Pressurizing the children to study more, don't go to play, don't go have any other fun activities like that. Okay, so we are going to have a compromise between these two. As you increase from 30 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius, your activity is getting almost doubled, but the denaturation of the enzyme is increasing by 40-fold. Okay, so that's why we can infer that the variations in the temperature will be affecting the Pmax value as well as your Michaelis-Menten constant, because V is a function of, we can say that V depends, these parameters is a function of temperature. How it is function of temperature? When you are changing the temperature, there is a denaturation which is taking place beyond certain limit, or up to certain limit, it directly proportional. The rate of the constant rate of the reaction is directly proportional to increase in temperature, beyond which there is a denaturation which is taking place. That's why we are having a bell-shaped curve. Okay, and here we can actually one term is being used which is called as Q10. Same thing what I have told you, from 10 degree to 40, if we are changing, what is happening. Okay, so this is called as temperature coefficient. In enzymes, we are defining a term called what is temperature coefficient, or Q10. It is simply written as Q10. So this is the increase in the catalytic activity, enzyme catalytic activity, when there is a 10-degree rise in the For every 10 degree rise, what is the change in the enzyme catalytic activity? That is written denoted as Q10. Okay, so what is Q10? It is the increase in the enzyme catalytic activity when there is a temperature rise by 10 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that way, for example, it can be anything 10 to 20 or 20 to 30 or 30 to 40 or any, it need not be round numbers also, 38 to 48. Okay, for every 10 degrees Celsius, what is the change in the activity? Enzyme catalytic activity is denoted. So, for example, between 0 degree to 40 degree up to in this range temperatures, for most of the enzymes, Q10 will be 10. Q10 will be 2 times. It will be doubled. Enzyme activity almost doubles for every 10 degrees Celsius. That's why Q10 is 10. You can say when we say Q10 equal to 2, it means that when there is a 10 degree rise in the temperature, the catalytic activity, the rate of the reaction is getting doubled. Okay, and last point is that 40 to 50 degree is the most optimum, for most of the enzymes. Okay, for most enzymes, optimum temperature to operate is 40 degree to 50 degrees Celsius. But there are certain examples. Okay, so there is an enzyme called as urease, which will be active up to 60 degrees Celsius, and there are some enzyme which can be active around 100 degree, which is venome phosphokinase. So these are certain, as I said, always there are exception. There are exemptions like urease, which is active around 60, venome phosphokinase, which is active up to 100 degrees Celsius also, it remains active. Okay, but in general, optimum temperature range to work for this enzyme is 40 to 50. When I say optimum, why we are saying optimum? That is the time at which we are going to get our Vmax, or maximum rate of the reaction. Okay, so in general, 40 to 50 is optimum, and most of the enzymes become denatured about 70 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that way at 70 degrees Celsius, almost most of the enzyme gets denatured. The other effects are very simple one that we know, we have already well discussed this effect of concentration. We have seen effect of pH. We have seen effect of temperature in detail. So other effect of concentration we know very well, because based on the rate equation we can easily say that. So what is the effect of concentration? So what is the effect of concentration of the enzyme? What is the effect of concentration of the substrate? Based on the rate equation, you can say in general, with increase in what is that? With increase in enzyme concentration, we will increase or decrease. With increase in substrate concentration, rate of the reaction will increase or decrease. One of you? See, with increase in enzyme, more enzymes are there, more active sites are there, right? Each enzyme contains certain number of active sites. When the concentration of enzyme is high, we can say that rate of the reaction, because active sites are going to be more, therefore it will increase. So V increases. Okay, with increase in the substrate concentration, rate of the reaction increases, but there is a certain limit, right, within range, right? So that is the thing. There is a limited range for substrate, whereas for enzyme, more the enzyme, more the this thing. Okay. And what is the concentration of product? Effect of concentration of product. This is important. You should think and tell. Effect of concentration of product. Say we are having hostels. Students are getting graduated, and new students have to come in. If the old student did not vacate the hostels, we will be having sufficient accommodation to provide to the new people. So in that way, you can think and say what happens when the product concentration is increasing. Once the product is formed, if you are withdrawing it, then you have sufficient space for the new raw materials to come in, right? So that way, when the concentration of product is increasing, it is generally observed that V decreases. So we have to ensure that the concentration of product in the stream is withdrawn or removed continuously. Okay, so that's why it is not that much good. And next lecture we will be discussing in detail about activators. Okay, so activators are like some metal ions, like maybe magnesium ions or zinc ion or copper ions or anything, any metal ions which will also take part in the mechanism to form the intermediate, which will promote the rate of the reactions. So the effect of activators we will discuss in the next lecture. Okay, thank you so much for joining my classroom. We'll continue in the next lecture. If you have any doubts, you can get clarified, others can leave.